beauty, history, diversity, innovation, and lots of fun. There are so many reasons why we love Tampa. There's something for everyone, and each year more people want to call our city home. To ensure we continue to thrive, we need to plan. Guiding responsible growth and preparing for our future needs is a task we at the City of Tampa take very seriously, and we want you to be a part of our journey. You're watching Planning Today for Tampa's Tomorrow. I'm LaChone Dock, your host. Together, we'll travel through our great city, take a look at what city officials are working on, and talk one-on-one with our experts about the projects and plans that will shape our future. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Planning Today for Tampa's Tomorrow. This is your host, LaChone Dock. Before we get started, please note we are recording the show, and also please make sure you mute yourself if you're not speaking. I'm excited to announce today's topic, resiliency and sustainability. Next slide, please. I want to introduce today's featured guest, Whit Remer. Whit is the city's first sustainability and resilience officer, and we are so happy to have him on board here at the City of Tampa. Today, Whit will present to us information regarding the Resilient Tampa Roadmap. So, Whit, I'm turning it over to you. Before you start, can you tell us briefly a little bit about yourself, and then can you tell us what is the Resilient Tampa Initiative?
Well, thanks so much, LaChone, for the invitation to speak to this great new wonderful program that the planning department put together. I think it goes with the spirit of our newfound kind of mission here at the city to be a more active planning department and to help really shape the future of the city with not only planning expertise internally, but also from our wonderful kind of community engagement partners as well. So again, thanks. I'm Whit, and I'm really happy to be here to share the stage with you, LaChone, and all the great work that your office is doing. And just so the folks on the call know, we are really trying to work collaboratively here at the City of Tampa, the city, planning and development department with sustainability and resilience, and all of the departments that kind of touch these different topics, whether it's stormwater or parks and rec. So it really is a collaborative effort, and I think that really probably is a shift in how business as usual was done here, and really probably across governments, across whether local, state, or federal government. The federal government's always talked about kind of a whole of government approach, and we're trying to embody that here at the City of Tampa. So my background, I'm an environmental lawyer and urban planner by training, but I'm also a citizen and a resident of Tampa. So this stuff matters to me. I walk our streets. I ride my bike. I use the Tampa Tremendous program, and I understand that with the incredible beauty that comes with living in a coastal city like the City of Tampa also comes risk, and that we need to act responsibly as citizens and as a government planning for our future. And so I was really excited when Mayor Castor announced that she had a vision for sustainability and resilience that was really the core underpinning of her Transforming Tampa's Tomorrow program. And she's made good on it. I mean, she hired a sustainability and resilience officer, so that was good. But she's really empowered not only me, but all of our departments to embody this concept of sustainability and resilience, which we're going to dive more deeply into today. So I'll stop with about me, and let's talk more about the City of Tampa. LaChone, how about that?
Absolutely. Thank you. Sounds good. Next slide, please.
So the Resilient Tampa Roadmap, some of you might be familiar that last May we released the first resilience roadmap for the City of Tampa. This was a huge undertaking. It was one of the first things on my desk when I started with the City of Tampa in May of 2020, frankly, right in the middle of COVID. And my background, like I said, was environmental law and urban planning, and so I really have an appreciation for the built environment, the infrastructure that. Look at that! Our energy efficiency lighting system in the city of Tampa just turned off my lights. Okay, that's energy efficiency at work right there. So I really love the things that make a city move and the heartbeat of a city, but I also recognize that resiliency reaches much beyond just physical built infrastructure. It really does touch our social infrastructure. You can't build good neighborhoods without thinking about the people that live in them and make up the cultural fabric of neighborhoods, whether you're talking about the housing stock or you're talking about the small businesses or the transportation that cuts right through neighborhoods. So when Mayor Castor asked me to develop a really broad sweep resiliency plan with the help of international resiliency experts, I gotta be honest, it was one of the more challenging things I've ever been asked to do in my resiliency career, to think outside of my built environment kind of box. And so we started talking to citizens and looking at tons of data points, and recognizing that the mayor had this vision for transforming Tampa's tomorrow. And as we started asking questions about the shocks, those were kind of the short-term things that keep cities or people from reaching their highest and best potential, to stressors, which are those long-term kind of accumulative effects, things like long-term effects of climate change, like sea level rise, or long-term housing affordability. We started to see these trends emerge that really actually aligned with the mayor's T3 initiative, which was think about transportation, think about housing affordability, think about jobs and workforce development, and make sure you do all this through the lens of sustainability and resilience. And that's exactly how we structured this 100-page document that is a plan that has 58 actions that we are tracking methodically in it. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a bit. But what we did is we organized this exercise into 4 different chapters. We focused first on people, because we know people are what make our city. They make and represent our diversity. They represent the workforce. They represent people that really bring Tampa alive. So that's opportunity for all Tampanians. We know that not everyone in Tampa really, as historically has existed, has had a fair shot. Whether you look at educational achievement, home ownership, transportation, we know that if you're black and brown, or if that you come from a lower income neighborhood, that your opportunities historically have been limited. We want to close that gap, and we are focusing with all of our city resources to help bring federal, state, and local support to that effort. We know that people live in neighborhoods, right? I mean, we've done a great job of building up downtown here in Tampa, but Mayor Castor really wants to bring good government back into neighborhoods. And we know that neighborhoods are often where you drive and where you play, where you converse with your neighbors, where you see potholes. So we want to really make sure that we have thriving neighborhoods. We know that, we're seeing the effects of climate change right here in Tampa, and that we are really ground zero in a lot of ways. And we also have an opportunity to be leaders in this field. So we really want to start building our infrastructure in a way that is representative of the future risk that we're going to face. And finally, that we're in this pivotal place of growth in the city of Tampa. We're expecting 100,000 citizens in the next 20 years to move here. That's going to happen whether we like it or not. We can't tell people, sorry, Tampa's closed for business. But what we can do is plan our neighborhoods, our city blocks, for that growth, to support that growth in as sustainable way as possible. So that's kind of how the chapters of this are organized. And this is not done in a silo. We worked with our transportation planners, with our housing planners, with all of our city departments to make sure that we embodied everything that they're doing great, and that, areas that we can find room for improvement. So that's how the Resilient Tampa roadmap set up. And LaShawne, I think we can probably move on to the next slide.
All right, perfect. And so, Whit, what was the driving force behind the creation of the city's Resilient Tampa roadmap? You mentioned the mayor's T3 initiatives, but what were some of the other driving forces behind it?
Yeah, so I mean, I was talking to some folks today, and there was a student from the USF planning department here today. And for those of you that are on this call, you're probably interested in city planning. And as you might know, USF has a planning degree program. This is great. This is our future planners. And I remember 5 years ago when I was in a different role, I reached out to the planning department. And like I said, I'm a planner by training. I reached out to the planning department at USF, and I said, I want to be a mentor, and I want to mentor on this topic called resilience that I had been interested in for 12 years. And they did this mentor-mentee matching, and they emailed me and said, sorry, there's no matches. There doesn't seem to be any students interested in resilience. And this is 5 years ago. And I said, well, okay. So yesterday, President Biden signed into law the bipartisan infrastructure framework, the BIF. Just so you have an understanding of how far resilience has come in those 5 years, there's at least $11 billion for resilience in that. I think Mayor Castor had a vision understanding how important resilience is for our city, not only to tap into federal resources, but also because it's really just good planning. Resilience is the buzzword, LaShawne, but resilience is actually just good integrated planning. And we haven't done a good enough job of that here at the city, or really across the country in many circumstances. And our situational surroundings are changing with climate change and with demographic and migration shifts. And we need to be prepared for these challenges. And I think the mayor had a vision to create a holistic roadmap that addressed all of these. And she tasked me with putting those ideas together and with making sure the community was on board and helped us realize the great opportunities that we have ahead of us.
Okay. Next slide, please.
So this is just a little bit of a timeline of how it worked. I joined in May of 2020, but like I said, Mayor Castor's vision reached back all the way a year before that, when she said she was going to hire a chief sustainability officer. We worked all through the last year and a half collecting data and talking to citizens, holding focus groups, and ultimately released this roadmap in May of 2021. But I have to emphasize this. This is just the beginning. These initiatives are just a sampling of all the things that are going on at the city. And we've got basically each of these initiatives is their own project, and there's a lot of work to do on every single one of these. So the roadmap was one of many planning exercises and frameworks that we are developing here at the city. But I can tell you, this is not just a plan that sits on my desk. It lives on my wall. It does live on my desk. I'm going to have a website soon, but I can tell you we are tracking these things with people and with projects and with grants every single day. I wake up thinking about this, and I think many of my city colleagues are too.
Nice. Okay, next slide, please.
So what's in it, right? I talked about the 4 chapters. Here's just a small sampling of actions that we've laid out. So opportunity for all campaigns, that's really focused on people. So we have the Dare to Dream program and focusing on small business recovery. I just saw our media team did a great story about our owner-occupied rehab program. This is such an important program when we talk about housing affordability. Well, let me tell you why. We're building a lot of new quote-unquote affordable housing here in the city of Tampa. We have a goal to build 10,000 new affordable housing units by 2027. We've reached 6,000 of that as of a couple of weeks ago. One of the best ways that we know we can provide affordable housing is keeping people in their house that have been there for a long time, rather than having them be forced out due to a variety of pressures or circumstances. So someone that might have owned their house and paid off their mortgage, been passed down from one generation to another, but they've got a leaky roof, for instance, and they just simply don't have the funds to fix that roof. And you've got a developer knocking on your door right after a rainstorm saying, hey, I'll give you $300,000 for this house. And that roof has been leaking on your bed for weeks. You know, a lot of people might be tempted just to say I'm done, but where are they going to go with the prices where they are now? The city of Tampa has an amazing grant program whereby we will replace these life safety or fix these life safety hazards through our owner occupied rehab program and help keep people in their house. This is a small program. It's not particularly well publicized or even funded as robustly as it could be. It's a program I'm really interested in because keeping people in their houses and in their neighborhoods, that's what makes the cultural fabric and diversity of our city. And so this is a program, it's different than all the other affordable housing programs. This is one I really, really like though. And this is a program that I call out in the Resilient Tampa Roadmap that I want to see our city do more with. And we just featured a really wonderful story about a lady that just got her roof replaced through this grant program a couple of days ago on the City of Tampa's newsreel. I think it was on Facebook. So I encourage you to check that out. But there's all sorts of these initiatives that we already might be doing a little bit on, but through the resilience lens and through additional funding, we can further grow these programs, whether it's Vision Zero, the owner-occupied rehab program, transitioning to 100% renewable energy, embracing micromobility. There's so much in this resilience plan that can help really provide that glue that keeps us together as a great city. So let's talk about that. Next slide. Climate ready infrastructure. This is a really important chapter to me. You know, I don't know how many of you might have been following some of the climate talks that happened in Scotland last week. Some really big announcements. You know, I think there's a lot to take away from COP26, which stands for the Conference of Parties, and this is the International Climate Summit. If you don't care about international politics or meetings, that's fine. What you can know is that there is a lot of money and a lot of opportunity right here in the state of Florida, right here in the city of Tampa, to not only build really great, strong, resilient infrastructure, but also to help us transition to 100% renewable energy. And I'm here to tell you that the best days are ahead of us for resiliency. You are going to see a massive change in the way that we consume energy here in the city of Tampa and the way that we build infrastructure. We are going to be looking at different ways of treating our coastline, managing our water resources, ensuring that we increase access to public transit that's run on renewable energy and electric buses. This is a new era in the way that we run and operate cities, and we at the City of Tampa we stand ready to take advantage of this massive opportunity that is before us, both with the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the Build Back Better program. So climate ready infrastructure is a key focus of the mayor's and of my office and every single department here. Look at Hannah Avenue. Okay, Hannah Avenue is $100 million municipal office building that we're going to be working with the community in East Tampa to develop. We had solar panels on one of the 3 buildings that was approved at City Council 2 weeks ago. City Council said, no. One of 3 is not enough. You need to go and put solar on every single one of those buildings. Wow. That is an incredible shift from how this city and this City Council operated even 2 years ago. So these are the opportunities that we're looking for. And listen, we have the numbers to back this up. This is not us wasting away taxpayer dollars on some, you know, theoretical technology. We know that in 8 years, we're not going to be paying part of our electric utility bills at these facilities. We're going to be offsetting 30, 40, 50% of our electric bills in 8 years. That's the return on investment with these solar panels. And now with the new federal legislation, the amount of tax credits that are going to be available for e-bikes, for electric vehicles, for transitioning our grid to renewable energy, we're going to be at the forefront of this. And I am so excited about being in the position of Sustainability and Resilience Officer for the City of Tampa on this. You can go to the next slide. So again, transportation, a key part of this. We just released our greenhouse gas inventory. We know transportation is a huge, huge part of our carbon footprint. We need to make public transportation more available, more frequent, and we need to make sure that it's available across the city at a more reliable schedule. And I think Adelie LeGrand at Hart is doing an incredible job, given her constrained resources, to make sure that we're a city that's positioning ourselves for 21st century transportation. So again, our growth is you know, it's the best and worst thing that's happened to us, right? We want to welcome people. I have a friend coming in town this weekend. I cannot wait to show him around Tampa. But I know that many of you on this call are concerned about the growth. I love sharing this city with people, but we need to do it in a responsible way. And I think that we'll have some conversation about that today. All right, next slide.
Okay, and Whit, many people are happy that this effort is underway, and also that the city has this focus and priority on sustainability. So can you tell us what are the next steps and what can the community expect in the near future regarding this plan?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I can tell you the mayor wants me to report to her on what we're doing on this resilience roadmap. So we're creating kind of a quarterly report. We also have a tracking system that our team has put together where we're tracking these 58 initiatives, you know, on a weekly basis almost. And so what's really exciting about these 58 initiatives, there is something in this plan for everyone. If you like transportation, affordable housing, planting trees, renewable energy, you name it, I can find something in this plan for you. I can tell you, I work closely with our grants team, LaChone, and there's not a grant that we apply for right now that we don't rip a page out of this resilience roadmap, okay? And we attach it to our letter of support to our grant, because we know that we've covered all of our bases in this resilience roadmap, because we've got to think about this in a holistic way. So, you know, if you've got a niche issue that you're continuing to email city staff about, go to this roadmap and say, look, you said you were going to do it, and where's the progress? Every single one of these deserves its own program or program manager or grant funding stream or attention to detail. And I can tell you our entire city is behind the spirit of this roadmap, and we're all working as a team to move forward the actions that are contained within it.
Great information, Whit. So you've given us an overview of the plan and what to expect in the near future. So can you tell us what actions would you like for our listening audience to take from here?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I encourage you to look at it. We can, LaChone, maybe I can put in the chat, or we can follow up for those that haven't seen it. We can send a link out. I encourage you to look through it, and I'm happy to grab coffee or have a virtual meeting with anyone that wants to talk about a particular initiative. Like I said, there's 58 things in here, and this is just my shop. I mean, there are other, let me just give this example. One of the initiatives in here is to develop a climate action and equity plan. And we've already launched that effort. We are right now developing Tampa's first climate plan, which is going to help us realize, or at least think about, maybe not realize, but think about how to reduce our carbon and methane emissions, and also to build infrastructure for tomorrow. And so if you like getting involved in climate change, I've got a project for you to help get involved in. If you like renewable energy, I got a project for you. If you like transportation, let me link you up with Vic and Danny and Cal and our whole transportation team. They've got amazing projects going on. our Rome Yard development, our West River project. The mayor likes to say that we're going to see more transformation in the next 10 years in the city than we have probably your entire lifetime. And I think that's probably true. And it's my job and the mayor's job and everyone here at the city's job to make sure that we do that in a responsible and sustainable way. Guys, this is not easy work. I can tell you that. Managing growth south of Gandy is not easy. That's why we have a $500,000 grant to help us figure this out. And that it's not going to be enough. We're not going to have all the answers after that. This is tough work, and what's really great is that we have citizens and staff that want to tackle this work head on. And not everyone's going to be happy. There are going to be winners and losers, and our job is to try to manage that process in as equitable, fair, and sustainable way as possible, and to do so in a way that ultimately moves, I think, the benefit of the entire community forward.
Absolutely. Definitely a lot of work ahead. But
A lot of work
thanks
ahead.
so much. Thanks so much, Whit. I want to thank you for being our guest today, and thank you to our viewers. Also, next slide, please. Please join us for our next episode on December 21st. And you can view the presentation online at the city's webpage, which is shown here